right, Eric. So, first question I have for you is, how many properties have you flipped?
Then you're not gonna say hello?
Oh, well, shit. I should introduce myself, right? And like I said, I want this to be more genuine, so like, you could even leave this in here. Um, so my name is Christian Reyes. This is Eric Escobedo. He's a
How's it
realtor. I'm a lender. We're gonna be talking a little bit about his experience flipping properties, and just it's supposed to be like more like educative and kind of like inspiring, I guess, because a lot of people want to get into this stuff, and to this guy, it's just another day. So, so yeah. So, okay, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, my name is Eric Escobedo. I'm with Realty Chicago, Team Eric, Double E. Work out of the Birdman or Southside office.
All right. So first thing I want to ask is, how many properties have you flipped, and also
So far, 3.
3? Okay. And then how much real estate have you sold?
Real estate, I probably sold around 55 properties since I first started.
13 million in volume. I did my research.
Well, so you looked it up?
Average price point, like I think 237 or 257.
Yeah.
So, you flipped 3. Wait, no. Actually, first, let me ask this: How did you get started into that, and what made you want to get into it?
For what? Doing flipping properties
Yeah.
or real estate?
Flipping.
Flipping properties? Well, I've never actually wanted to work a 9 to 5 my whole life. I've always wanted to expand to the point where I don't have to depend on somebody to tell me how much my time is worth. And they told me one time, this one person told me one time, he's like, those shoes that you have on, they're Jordans, right? I'm like, yeah. They're like, what they cost you, like $220? Well, not these. He's like
Those are
what,
Gucci.
$220 plus tax? I'm like, yeah, like $240. Like, okay, how much did you make this week in your 9 to 5? I'm like, well, I make 15 an hour. So we calculated. He's like, so that took you like what, 10 hours of your life just to buy those shoes? And I'm like, fuck, like, damn, you're right. It might not be 15 hours or 10 hours, whatever the case. He told me we calculated the time in hours. He's like, so it took you 10 or 15 hours just so you could buy those shoes. And I'm like, holy shit, yeah, you're right. And he's like, why won't you make a business? And he's like, a business person, you don't calculate your life like that. It's whatever you make it. You could make 1,000 a day. You can make 10,000 a day. You can make 1,000,000 a day. It all depends on what you do. So from there, I took that person's advice, and then at that time I was working at T-Mobile, so I started saving up all my money. And obviously I would see all those shows where they would flip properties on HGN or whatever those shows are called. Flip this property, all those shows where they flip properties. So I always told my brother, let's save up enough money and then we'll buy a property and then we'll flip it. And he's like, yeah, I'm down. So we finally saved up enough money. He took out a personal loan. We bought the property for like $20,000, $25,000, and then I had like $60,000-$70,000 saved, and I put that into the property. So we were like 95 to 100,000 in total deep. From there, we rented out the property for like 2 to 3 years. So we held on for a while. We made some good rent off of it, and then from there, I finally told my brother, you know what? I think we should finally sell it and make some money off of it. But I told him, like, before we sell it, in order for us to save some commission, why don't I sell it myself or you sell it? He's like, well, you're the one in business. Since I was already at T-Mobile, I was already learning how to talk to people. You have to be really patient with clients, which is why I transitioned so smoothly into real estate, because you have to have patience with everybody, because how do I put it? Not everybody is the same, and some people are really difficult to deal with. Definitely. So you have to have a lot of patience, because they're going to want you to. Not every deal is going to be, oh, yeah, let's go to the first 4 properties. All right, I love this one, let's go. Sometimes it takes a month, sometimes 2, sometimes 5, 6 months. It's not going to be right away where you're going to find a client. Like, it's not always that long, but sometimes it takes a while. So point is, going back to real estate, I ended up getting my license. And I ended up selling finally flipped our first property. I ended up selling it. We made a good amount of profit. I think like $60K off of it, plus whatever we made off the rents.
Nice.
And then from there, we went and bought another one and then we finished that one, and then we bought another one in Chicago, and we just barely sold that like a month ago.
And you're working on the fourth one, right?
Well, we're looking to buy another one right now.
The one on 30th in St. Louis?
If it didn't have so many violations.
But anyways, so actually, I want to ask this: who was the person that told you that?
I don't remember.
How did you meet him then?
I don't remember. I just remember that what they told me, but I don't remember who it was.
Were they a businessman themselves, or they were just a random?
I think they were a business. I think they were in business, but I don't remember exactly who it was. Those words got engraved in my head. I just can't put a name to who gave me that advice.
Okay, and then I guess, so since you got into flipping, and then you kind of rented the first flip for a little bit, what made you want to, instead of like buying a bunch of properties and renting them out, flip them?
What do you mean?
So you could you could have held on.
Why I didn't hold on and sell it?
So no, what I'm saying is, so why flip? Like, why are you flipping instead of buying and holding?
Because when you buy and hold, so I'm still pretty much new to the whole flipping process. There's what's called a BRRRR. It's buy, rehab, refinance, and rent. So with that, but I was thinking about doing that to the last property, but I think I could only take out like 80% of the equity and 20%. I'm sorry. I could only finance 80% and take out 20% equity, I believe. So this last property, we would have kind of not got anything back. I don't know, it was a difficult situation with this last property. But the reason why we wanted just to keep flipping was because you make more money up front than the rental side. On the rental side, yes, you're making money back and you make a couple thousand or a couple hundred per month or per year, but it's like a slow transition. So we wanted to keep flipping again, so that's why we sold the first property, and then that's when we got our money back, and then that's when we bought the second property.
Okay.
But if I had held the first property, it was gonna drag to be able to buy another property.
Okay. And what are some key factors when you're looking into investing to purchase a property? What are some things that you look at?
You gotta look at, for one, obviously purchase price. 2, area. 3, you gotta look at all the properties that have actually sold or are sitting on the market. And then you gotta look at the house you're trying to buy. Is it worth it? How much money do I have to put into it? You have to look at all the factors to make sure that you're actually gonna make money in the long run after 5 or 6 months once you're done flipping it. Because if you're gonna buy something, let's say the area wants to rehab, they're like $340, and I buy something at $250, but it takes me $60,000 to fix it. So now I'm in $310 plus closing costs and everything. I'm gonna be right there at the $340. So that's something like that's not worth it. You gotta make sure the house is low enough in purchase price, and obviously it doesn't need that much to fix, so that therefore you can make a profit in the end.
So where do you find them, on the MLS or off market, or?
Usually in the MLS. You just gotta keep looking, look until you find the right one.
Okay. And have you considered working with off market ones, or are you just thinking?
Yeah, but I really don't know where to find off market properties.
Okay. And then, so I think you've done multi-units and single families, correct?
I've done 2 single families and 1 multi.
Okay. Do you think it's better to do a single family or a multi?
Right now, I feel like it's better to transition into a multi-unit. With the interest rates going up, everyone's transitioning from buying a single family since they're so expensive for the monthly. So what people are doing is now they're doing the house hack. They're buying the multi-units. They're obviously fixed up or nice. And they're not going to feel that huge effect of the mortgage because they're going to rent one of the floors, and if they're lucky, if they get a basement, they're going to be able to rent out the basement as well. So now their mortgage isn't as bad. So now people are going to buy the multi-units over the single-family homes.
Okay, and then I think one thing that I've heard from people is that they don't really know a contractor. Like, they want to get into it, but they don't know a contractor.
And that's the difficult part. It's hard finding somebody who's reliable, who knows what they're doing, who's not going to cut corners, and then once everything is done, what's gonna happen is you're gonna turn on the water, and now you got fucking water running, dripping down the wall, coming through here, coming through there. So now what do you have to do? Now you have to rip everything back open so you can find that leak.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to find a reliable contractor. Once they're done with plumbing or electrical, make sure you run everything so that they don't have to reopen all the walls, because water is your worst enemy on a property.
How did you find your contractor, and have you used the same one for all properties or no?
I found we've had multiple contractors. So far, I have one guy who has pretty much stood out. He's slow, but he gets the job done eventually. So that's why we've kept him, and his prices are good. Obviously, you always have to keep a contractor who has good prices as well, but has good work. So you got to be somewhere in the middle, because if you go too cheap, you're going to get what you paid for. And then now that's going to become more expensive, because now, since you hired that cheap-ass contractor, now you're going to have to pay more thousands of dollars to come fix that guy's fucking shitty work.
Yeah.
So sometimes the cheap is not the best. Obviously, you want a good deal, so you got to be like right in the middle.
Okay. And
ask for referrals. Ask for their past referrals. If they have no referrals, then that's a red flag. If they don't want to show you pictures of their past work, that's a red flag. Because if you're a contractor and you're supposed to be good, you're supposed to have all this. They're supposed to be like, look, I just did this. Look, I just did this. Look, I just did this. Look, I just did this.
Mm-hmm.
But if they don't do that, that's like, well, why the fuck do you not want to show me your work? Because they have no work.
But how did you find him?
How I found this guy was where I lived. This guy used to smoke with the neighbor across the street. And obviously back then, he was just like, oh, I'm barely getting into this. So once I knew I was finally going to get into it, years later, I reached out to my neighbor, like, hey, can I get that guy's number? We talked. He showed me work. He took me to a property where he was doing work, and I liked how it came out. And so I'm like, all right, cool. Let's work something out once I get my next property.
Okay.
And then from there, we just been working, but it was on and off, because I had gotten a different contractor who told us, oh, yeah, everything's going to be perfect. I'm going to charge you super cheap. So I have dealt with super cheap contractors, because I grabbed this guy from, okay, I remember now. So the first contractor that I used was some contractor I met at T-Mobile. He told me, oh, yeah, I'm going to hook you up, blah, 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 blah. He did cheap-ass work, and he fucked up, though. Like, on the outside, it looked good, but the plumbing, electrical, and all that, like pouring shit was all fucked up. So then that's when I looked for this guy, and he came and he fixed all this stuff for me.
And I know you mentioned that your brother used a personal loan. Have you considered like any financing options to finance your flips or no?
So we've gone from first cash, the second property we got it with a conventional loan, and the third property we got with a hard money loan.
Okay.
Honestly, to rate from top three, the second property was probably our best one. We got that with a conventional loan. And then the cash one, and then the hard money loan. The hard money loan was, I guess, we had a really bad experience with that loan officer.
Mm-hmm.
Very uncommunicative. It was a horrible experience. I would personally never work with him again.
Can't relate.
Yeah, because, I don't know. I didn't like how that hard money loan was. He didn't explain a bunch of stuff to us. And at the very end, it was a bunch of fees. It was a bunch of crap. In order for us to pull money out, so we practically paid for the whole. It's confusing. So they financed the property and they financed the construction,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, we had a down payment of like $113,000 that we paid. So we practically paid for the entire rehab in that loan, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Plus a slight down payment. Because they gave us like $90,000 to work with, so it was like the 90 plus an extra 20 grand for down payment. And every time we asked, like, okay, we're done with so much, can we get some money? Show us pictures, like, get us the permits, get us this, get us this, get us that. It's like, well, what the fuck? You never told us none of that. Like, and then once they finally released the funds out, they charged us like $100 to $200. I forgot what the range was, but I think it was like $150 just to take out our money out. It's like, bro, like, you're charging us so we could get our money. Like, that's bullshit. Oh, it's because it's a fee, because so on and so forth. We have to pay this guy. We got to pay that guy. Like, I don't give a fuck. That's my money.
I get you.
But I don't know. I didn't like how that hard money loan was.
So for the future, you think you're just going to either go cash or conventional?
Right now, we're trying to do conventional. Um, just so that we don't use up all our funds.
Mm-hmm.
We just pay whatever 10% or 15, 20, and then we have the rest of the cash to fix the whole rehab.
Okay. And then, so I assume whenever you have a property that you're interested in, that's when you bring your contractor in?
So we actually take the contractor while we're looking for properties.
Okay.
So that he could give us a rough estimate of what it's going to be. And so we could tell him, like, okay, what's roof, what's plumbing, electricity, painting, flooring, everything. Because it doesn't make sense just to go look at it ourselves, because we're getting an idea of what it's going to cost. So we could estimate. But it's nothing better. If the contractor's available, why not take him?
Okay. Yeah, so the reason why I thought it was like maybe you would find something on your own, and then maybe you were serious about that one, you would bring him.
No, lately we've been taking the contractor with us because the market's so hot that we don't want to wait for us to look at it and then wait for the contractor to be ready and then go look at the property, because by the time we go look at it with the contractor, it's gone.
Okay.
Like your property. We were going to take him to go look at your property, and it was on the contract the next day.
And do you well, oh, okay, so you said you got into it with your brothers. Is there any problems with that ever, or?
No. I mean, obviously you always get into your tips regarding what are we going to do for this? What are we going to do for that? Which contractor? Because obviously there's the general contractor, and then you have to get your plumber. You got to get your HVAC guy. You got to get your. So sometimes like, no, let's go with this guy. No, let's go with that guy. But it's never to the point where it's like, you know what? We're not fucking talking no more. He's like, it's never been an issue like that.
Okay. Oh, and I don't know if you want to say this, but so what commission do you charge them?
Who?
Well, I mean, I guess yourself and your brothers.
When I sell the property?
Yeah.
I try not to charge commission at all.
So you just do the buyers?
Yeah, I just do buyers.
Damn.
So and regardless, even if I do charge a commission, I take it out of my profits for what it like. So let's say we're gonna make 60 grand. So I'll charge a commission, but I'll take that off my cut.
Okay.
After
you might as well not even charge it.
I have to because the office still charges me a transaction fee. So if I don't charge a percentage, they'll charge me like $1,000 for that. So it's like I rather charge a certain percentage. I think it's 1%.
Oh wow.
I forgot what it is.
And then, what are some mistakes that you've done, or if any?
Mistakes?
I know you're perfect.
On the flipping the property?
Yeah. Or in life, nah.
Mistakes? I mean, there's always mistakes, picking the wrong property. The last one, I felt like it was going to be a good property, but it was...
The ARV was too high?
Huh?
Your estimated ARV was too high?
It was fine. The thing was, the projection of the work was way too much. Because the house was already half done, so we thought, like, oh, the house is already half done. We're going to save on plumbing, we're going to save electrical, but once we bought it and we looked at and we brought in because the general contractor just looked at it partially, but once they kind of opened up walls to look at everything right, there was leaking water, the electrical wasn't wired properly, so now they had to open up more walls to fix certain problems, so obviously that became more of an issue. Now we had to pay for more drywall. Now we had to repaint. Now we had to pay extra for the electrical guys to fix certain things that we didn't expect for the issue to be.
Okay.
So sometimes it's not that good to buy something that's half done already, because you don't know if it was already half-assed, and now you just got a big pot of shit in front of you that you have to fix.
On average, how long does it take to flip?
This last one took us like 5 months.
Is that usually how long it takes? Or?
The first one, so we've been dumbing it down. The first one took like almost a year. The second one took us, I want to say, like 6 months. And then this last one took us like 4 months.
And then when you flip it and you're all said and done, like what efforts do you take to market the property?
Obviously I'm at a huge brokerage where we have over 300 agents. So we have a group on Facebook where we post that property and we let them know, like, hey, this we post the pictures and we let them know, hey, this property is about to come into the market. Does anybody have any buyers? Or if you could help me market it once it's on the market. So, like there's around like 350 agents.
I think now it's like 400, right?
Probably. Realty Chicago is growing really fast, and they just keep expanding. So imagine all these 400 agents. Let's say 50% of them share. That's still 200 agents that are sharing your property. They share on their Facebook. How many friends does everybody have? At least 200 to 1,000 or more. So now that's being marketed throughout. So right there is just getting mad. Huge publicity for the property. Plus, I have a bunch of agents. Plus, they have a bunch of agents from Coldwell Banker, App Properties, from different companies. So all these agents are now looking at it too. So now it's like a virus that just spread through the internet, and now everybody is sharing and trying to see, hey, can I look at this property? And obviously, I share it on my Snapchat. I share it through my Facebook as well. And open houses on the weekends. Sometimes I would have you go to my open houses. So that way the public, the neighbors could go in and probably share like, hey, Panchito, the house is down the street just for sale. You should come buy it. Or they want their nephews or sons or whatever. People want to go look at the property.
Yeah, we met at the open house for your second flip.
Yes, sir.
The legendary open house.
The second one? Evergreen. That's where we met.
That one was nice.
With your boy, Gio.
Yes, my best friend. But, so... I noticed for that one was staged, but the multi-unit wasn't staged. Why didn't you stage that one?
It wasn't staged because I knew it would sell fast because it's in a good area. It was property priced.
Good area.
And it was beautiful. Huh?
The what? A good area.
It's a good area to buy multi-units. So that's multi-unit city right there. At the end of the day, you have to live somewhere.
Yeah.
And regardless of what you think of the area, everyone's always going to want to live somewhere. And if it hits their price point, they'll buy it, and it's going to sell quick.
How do you pick the area? Like, what are some? Actually, I think a better question is, what are some areas that you have your eyes on right now?
Chicago South Side.
That's your go-to place? Okay. And what are like some resources that you may have used for like informing yourself?
In which way?
Like when you got into it, like I'm sure you didn't just like maybe you did, I don't know. Where you're like, okay, let's go look at the property. Like how did you educate yourself a little bit?
To find the property?
To just the whole flipping process, or did you just say like, hey, did you just dive headfirst into it?
We just dove head first, not knowing what the fuck to do.
That's what you got to do, right?
Yeah, because if you don't dive into it and find out how it works, you're never gonna grow past it. And if you never get the courage to actually do something that you want to do, how do you know if it's gonna work or not?
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, what would you say to someone who's scared to do it because problems may arise, they may not make the profit that they wanted, and of course I'm sure maybe there were some people that were like, maybe your parents were telling your brothers and stuff, I know vas a perder dinero, no hagas eso.
I mean, nobody ever told us not to do it. We kind of just hid it from everybody and just did it on our own. No, obviously my mom knew, our parents knew, my brothers knew, but we try to keep it like close as possible from letting the world know, so you don't get that negative energy like, oh, what the fuck are they doing? Why did they buy in that neighborhood? Why are they doing this? They're gonna lose money. They don't know what they're doing. The market's bad. Interests are high. Blah blah blah. All that good stuff.
Yeah, you gotta block the noise out.
You just gotta block the noise and just do what you gotta do and figure it out.
What do you think are like the biggest like takeaways to like make the most profit?
What do you mean the biggest takeaway?
Well, I'm sure like out of 3 of your sales, maybe some of them made more profit than others. Would you say that?
Yeah. So I mean, on this last one, we kind of didn't make any money. It was kind of a loss, but that doesn't discourage us because it's like everybody fails. Nobody's perfect. And you make mistakes. So fuck it. We took a loss, but right now we're still looking for another property. and hoping that we find a good property.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm assuming the most profitable one was probably the second one.
Yeah.
I think that one was a good one. I think
That one was amazing because we found a diamond in the rough. That property, and properties were selling like hotcakes, but this property was on the market for like 100 days. We didn't understand why. We were gonna go look at it, and I kept telling my brothers, like, this one's a good home. He's like, it's in a good area and it's huge. He's like, I see the potential. We'll do this, we'll do that. Like, once I see a property, I start envisioning what we're gonna do to it. Obviously, if it's possible, I don't want to knock out a beam and something goes bad. But you gotta envision what you're gonna do to the property, and you gotta sell that vision. And the way it came out was exactly how I wanted it. But that property, nobody was touching it, nobody wanted it, nobody would make offers. So we said, I think it was like 165, and we offered 135, and we got it under contract. And we still got closing. Once we did inspection, we probably got like another $5,000 off the property.
nice.
So that house, we got a really good deal.
Do you think? No, I don't know. This is me from the outside looking in. I think single families would be better, no? Because I feel like multi-units are more expensive.
Yes, that's true. It's more extensive, and like right now, it's hard to say because, like I said, you have to find the right deal, because everybody is selling everything super expensive right now. So it's hard to make money on a rehab if everybody wants a lot for it. So if let's say, for example, they're selling a multi-unit in Brighton Park, they want $250 for it, the $290. That's already kind of up there, and it needs a lot. Let's say it needs like $100K in work. So now it's $350 that you're in, and I could probably sell it for like $400,000. Minus closing costs, minus fees, all that. I'm probably gonna make like $30,000 off of it. Split with my brothers, I mean, it's not gonna be much. So right now it's kind of hard to find something where you'll make a huge profit. I mean, they're out there, but there's sometimes other investors, rehabbers that have way more experience, and they have a lot more cash. So obviously cash is king. So if a rehabber goes in and he pays cash for a property, they're going to beat me with our conventional loan. So that's why it's better to buy cash, but I'm still not to the point where I could buy certain properties cash.
Okay.
Because then I'm out of money for the rehab.
And then is there anything that you can think of that's like any like good advice? Like,
To go rehab?
yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody knows a contractor. All they have to do is just build a relationship, talk it out, see if they want to. Right now, it would be good to build what I would call a team with a contractor. So you say you're going to put up the money to get the house and the loan and buy material. Find yourself a contractor who's willing to not get paid or is able to pay his workers until you sell the property, and then you guys both split the profits for that property.
How come you haven't done that?
I got too many partners already.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I figured. Yeah, because you're doing it with your brothers. You think you'll ever do it on your own, or you think you're just gonna do it with your brothers?
Eventually, we want to have a competition where we each buy our own property and see who finishes first.
That would be pretty badass.
So, yes, we do plan on going separate, but still together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. Dang. So, like, who's out of all the brothers? Cause you said it was your idea.
It was between myself and my older brother at the time.
And it's 3 of you guys, right?
It's 4 of us.
4. And all 4 of you are in on it?
Now it's all 4 of us.
Okay. So at first it started with 3, no?
2.
2? So
First one was 2, the second one was 3, and the last one was 4.
So is it 2 including you and the other brother, or?
Well, it's me and 3 other brothers. So it's 4 brothers in total. It's 4 brothers in total.
So it's 5 of you guys.
3 of us. 4
5 gentlemen.
That's what 4 in total means.
Wait, hold on, stop.
There's 4 brothers in total, including myself.
Okay, there we go.
The total,
so
total.
at first it was you and one more brother.
So it was just me and 1 brother.
Okay.
The second one, the third brother, came into play. And then the last one, the 4th brother came into play. And obviously they brought in their own money, so that means that I have to put in less.
Okay. Dang. So, I know you mentioned the Birdman method. So you think you're gonna do that in the future or no?
If it makes sense, yeah.
Okay, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to ask.
All right, I gotta go.
Let me see if I can think of anything else. Oh, I think with the way that you would find like mistakes, well, not mistakes, but like you would find more work than you thought. Do you think there's any way to prevent that or no?
I mean, you can't avoid the inevitable. Excuse me.
Edibles.
Like, you can't avoid it. So, like, you don't know what's behind those walls. He's like, if you're looking into a house, all you could do is just run the faucets, run the shower, check the electrical. But once you start opening up walls, you might find a whole different monster.
Dang. For the inspections, do you get a break from Cake Breaker? Jimmy
Well-
Kimmel?
Yeah, I do.
Actually?
But usually we just take the contractor we're going to use.
So you typically don't have an inspection?
We don't have an we don't. The first one we had no inspection because we knew it was a shithole.
Okay.
The second one we got in.
You bought it for 20 or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was fucked up for sure. So it's like,
You might as
why are
well
you gonna
just-
have an inspection? You know it's fucked up. You're gonna rehab it, so you know you're gonna build it from top to bottom.
Mhm.
And then the second one, we had the inspection just to make sure that it didn't have any major issues with the foundation, which it kind of did, but it wasn't that much of a issue. Where the contractor said I could probably do that for $1,500, and we ended up getting a credit for closing for like $5,000, so it was worth it.
All right. Any final thoughts?
Pretty much, if you want to do something, just go for it. And because if you don't try it, you're not going to know what the outcome is. You're going to be stuck doing what you're doing. And if you want to become if you want to become better at what you do, or do something that you're afraid to do, but you're afraid of people, what they're going to tell you, just do it. He's like, whether your parents say no, this and that. I mean, if you have the power to do it and the courage to do it, just go and do it.
Very inspiring.
Just like yourself.
Yeah.
You're straight out of high school, you jumped right into real estate, and then from real estate you jumped right into loans.
Yeah.
So you're an inspiration yourself,
Thank
because you're held, like 21?
Yeah.
You're
turning
21
22
and
as
you're a real estate agent and a loan officer.
well. Yeah.
So you yourself know you should just jump into it,
Definitely.
because if you don't know what you're going to do.
Definitely. I think it's very intimidating. Like, I think so. There was a split decision where I was thinking, like, which one should I pursue being a realtor or being a lender? And I was like, well, I know more about being a realtor than I do know about being a lender. But, I think that I like being a lender better. So why not pursue what I want to do instead of being stuck doing something that I don't want to do, but just because I'm scared to make that jump?
Of course. Yeah, but the thing is, these past year, 2 years, everyone became a real estate agent. So that's the first you saw the trend of everyone becoming real estate agents.
Mhm.
So that's why you jumped on it. But then you really realized that your true passion was with the loans. So that's when you jumped ship, and now you're doing what you really love to do. But you would have never gotten there if you never would have jumped into it at all.
And then now,
And how did you know you wouldn't have loved this if you didn't get into it?
and now there's people out there saying that the market's gonna crash, that the charts.
It's not going to crash. The government's just pretty much trying to make it to the point where you stop buying so many properties. Because obviously when you buy a property, you buy furniture. You start buying stuff to fix up the bathrooms, the kitchen, the flooring. So all that was in such high demand that the government wants it to stop, so that all these companies don't charge so much, because since it's in back supply, or they're like, all right, if you guys really want this shit, we're going to charge you X amount extra. So now, and everyone's like, fuck it, I want it, let me get it. So they pay for it. So now what they want is the Home Depots and the Value Cities and all these furniture companies and Targets and everything to be overstocked with everything, because now if they're overstocked with a bunch of material, What's going to happen? Well, now they have to charge less. Now they have to drop it because now they have so much material in their warehouses they can't get rid of. And now they're like, all right, let's drop the prices back down so people can start buying our shit back again.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much inflation, right? That's why they raise interest rates to lower inflation. I think, it's a good thing because, I mean, I'm saying more so in the industry of real estate because I feel like it was so easy. Like probably when interest rates were 2 to 3%, everyone was
Well, yeah,
fine.
the people that got the best deal was when the interest rates dropped and the houses were still, they still were at what they were valued at.
Mm-hmm.
And then once everybody got into the trend of buying real estate, everything went up. That's when all the houses went up by 6. Like I remember I put in a bid on a property that was 170. I bid 60 grand over, and my client still didn't get it. So that's how crazy the market had gotten. So right now the houses are still up in value, but they went down. So they're like, and they're still holding. So it's not gonna crash. And I don't know. I don't think there's gonna be any crash. If it was gonna be a crash, it would have happened already.
Yeah, definitely. I think people are just spending too much time in their downtown condo.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for now. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed and learned something. Hit us up for a free consultation. We'll get you to the closing table, and within probably like the same day.
Yeah. Give me a call. 773-727-9691.
Yes, sir.